Jake Paul has just made a shocking announcement right before his highly anticipated heavyweight clash with Mike Tyson. The problem child was all set to face Tyson on November 15th, 2024, a match that's had the boxing world buzzing. But just when everyone thought they knew what to expect, Jake dropped a bombshell: if he loses to Tyson, he'll retire from boxing. That's right, the same Jake Paul who recently talked about his dreams of becoming a champion and even competing in the Olympics is now considering stepping away from the sport entirely if he doesn't win this fight. Jake Paul's been making waves in the boxing scene for some time now. Whether you love him or hate him, he's a master at staying in the spotlight. After knocking out opponents left and right, Jake set his sights on the biggest challenge yet, Mike Tyson. This potential retirement adds even more intrigue to a match that already has everyone on the edge of their seats. Only Mike Tyson. Yes, we're talking about Iron Mike, the baddest man on the planet. This isn't just another YouTuber fight, it's a serious showdown with one of the most legendary boxers in history. The fight is set for November 15th, and the hype is real. Jake Paul's been training hard, posting intense workout videos, and talking trash on social media. But here's the twist no one saw coming: Jake just made a shocking announcement. Just when you think you've got Jake Paul figured out, he throws a curveball that changes everything. This clash between two heavyweight titans has everyone on edge. But at a heated press conference in New York City, Jake Paul had everyone on the edge of their seats. He showed up looking completely calm, almost too confident, with no sign of pre-fight jitters. Strutting around, he threw out bold predictions, acting like knocking out Mike Tyson would be just another day at the office. The energy in the room was electric as both fighters fired off verbal jabs, but the YouTuber-turned-boxer was clearly bringing the heat. It was like he was on a mission to prove he could compete with a legend. But now, just days later, Jake has made a shocking announcement: he will retire if he loses to Tyson. Jake Paul's announcement that he might retire if he loses has sent shockwaves through the boxing world. The same guy who was talking a big game and looking like he was ready to take on anyone is now having second thoughts about his matchup with Mike Tyson. It seems like the new Jake was humbled when he finally stepped into the ring with an actual boxer, Tommy Fury. Tommy, the younger brother of heavyweight champion Tyson Fury, grew up in the sport. While Tommy has the pedigree, he's not exactly at the top of the boxing world. Sure, he's undefeated, but his record is filled with lower-tier fighters. He's not a world champion and hasn't made significant waves in the sport yet. When Jake fought Tommy in February 2023, it was a close fight, but Tommy edged out the win by split decision. That match was a wake-up call for Jake, showing that facing someone with real boxing experience is a completely different challenge. Tommy exposed some of Jake's weaknesses, but let's be real, Tommy, despite his potential, is no Tyson Fury. This realization adds a new layer of tension to Jake's fight with Tyson. Now, Jake Paul is set to face his first real challenge, a true test against a seasoned professional who also happens to be a living legend. Iron Mike Tyson is not some washed-up MMA fighter, YouTuber, or retired athlete trying out boxing. Tyson is one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time, with a career that has become the stuff of legend. This fight isn't just another payday or a publicity stunt for Jake, this is the real deal. But no one expected Jake to put his entire career on the line. Sure, Mike Tyson is a legend, but let's not forget he's pushing 60. At 58 years old, Tyson isn't exactly in his prime, and that's where Jake Paul might see an advantage. On paper, Jake's facing an older opponent, not too different from the fighters he's previously faced, who were often past their peak. Maybe Jake was expecting the same with Tyson. However, here's the twist: Tyson might be older, but he's far from washed up. In fact, he remains a formidable opponent even today. Tyson is still an absolute beast in the ring. Have you seen him lately? The guy is ripped and still has that knockout power that made him a household name. Even at 58, his skills haven't faded. He's got the experience, muscle memory, and sheer ferocity to take down a younger, less seasoned fighter like Jake Paul. We've always known Tyson's capabilities, so it's not like Jake is walking into this fight blind. But maybe, just maybe, Jake was expecting a different Tyson, one that's slower, weaker, and easier to handle. After seeing Tyson looking more ripped than ever, reality might be setting in for Jake. He's realizing that this fight isn't going to be the walk in the park he might have hoped for. Losing to a 58-year-old might not just hurt Jake's pride, it could be a career-ending embarrassment. And now, instead of facing that possibility, Jake's already talking about quitting the sport altogether if he loses. It's almost like he's setting the stage to bow out gracefully rather than risk the humiliation of getting knocked out by a boxing legend who's nearly twice his age. So what happens after November 15th? There are two very different possibilities. There are two possible scenarios, and each will have significant consequences for Jake Paul's future. First, let's imagine Jake wins. If Jake somehow pulls off a victory against Mike Tyson, it would be one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. He would instantly silence his critics and cement his status as a legitimate fighter. It would be a career-defining moment, and you can bet Jake would capitalize on it. He might even challenge more big names in the sport. His brand would skyrocket, transforming him from a YouTube star to a boxing icon overnight. Boxing pros and pundits would have little to criticize. But what if he loses? If Jake gets defeated by Tyson, the retirement talk could become a reality, and the problem child might hang up his gloves for good. The boxing world would lose one of its most talked about athletes. However, don't expect Jake to disappear. Knowing him, he'll find a way to stay in the limelight, whether through entertainment, business ventures, or returning to his roots as a YouTube star. Despite his potential retirement, Jake has been vocal about his ultimate goal, becoming a world champion. It's what he's aimed for ever since he first laced up the gloves. The boxing world has been waiting to see if Jake Paul can truly prove he's more than just a YouTuber with a loud mouth. The harsh reality is that Jake isn't respected in the boxing community. Despite his wins, many still view him as a YouTuber playing dress-up rather than a serious contender. With his upcoming fight against Mike Tyson, the stakes couldn't be higher. If Jake loses to Iron Mike, his dreams of becoming a world champion could be shattered. How could he expect to be taken seriously in the sport if he can't get past a 58-year-old, even if that 58-year-old is one of the greatest of all time? Boxers might not want to face him if he fails here. Other fighters might avoid stepping into the ring with Jake Paul, not because they're scared, but because beating him wouldn't add much to their careers. Instead of climbing the ranks, Jake could find himself with no place in the sport at all. This reality might already be dawning on Jake, which could explain why he's considering calling it quits if things don't go his way. We'll have to wait and see how this unfolds. So there you have it, fight fans, that's all for today. What are your thoughts on Jake Paul's shocking decision ahead of his fight with Mike Tyson? Make sure to share your opinions in the comment section below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.